Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to week 5 of our Last Leg podcast.
This motherfucker's laughing because I'm sweating Houston to win the first game of the playoffs against the Detroit Lions. Right now, there are 3 zip, top of the 9th. Anyway, continue with the intro. Damn.
You got me, Nicky G, and my favorite co-host,
Jonny. I hope you guys are enjoying this enthusiastic intro. But that being said, please be sure to drop a like, hit subscribe. It helps the algorithm, supports us. Be sure to obviously follow us on our Discord, Instagram, Spotify, and our YouTube.
Most definitely. But all right, back to reality.
Yes,
what
sir.
a crazy week again in the NFL. And I say that in a good way because
I agree, bro.
It finally feels like we have a little bit of normalcy in the NFL.
Yeah.
Like everything's back to where it should be.
And what we're accustomed to.
Yes.
The stats make sense. The
Yes.
make sense.
Yes. 100%.
100%. I agree with that.
Just so we start off the podcast on a good note, just so you guys know, I hit my SGP. John hit his SGP. We got the spread right.
Yes, sir.
We got the over-under right. Mm-hmm. If you tailed that, you guys made fat fucking bank, and I hope you did because that was the best decision you could have made all week long. Few things that we got to touch on, just coming off of last week in the league.
A little recap.
CMC, wow, terrible news coming out of his camp.
Another month gonna be gone out
He might not even come back, dude.
for the rest of the season.
I would not put it past him.
Damn.
With
If that's
as
the
good,
case, if that's the case, going back to your episode 1 of this season, you were very, very adamant, and I'm sure everyone was, when you could make a future bet for the 49ers to make it to the playoffs. Answer this question. Can you see the 49ers making the playoffs without CMC?
100%. Mason has made it very clear that
I agree, man.
a fucking toddler could run behind that offensive line, okay? They are very, very good at being able to drive the defensive lines back. Granted, they haven't really faced a true crazy defense that could really put them in their place. But at the same time, that doesn't matter because they're getting the job done when it needs to be done. But yeah, CMC,
Like that answer.
motherfucker's got, tendonitis in both of his Achilles, both legs. At this rate, he's not going to have legs next week. I mean, seriously, every week, the news about CMC just gets worse and worse. And I hate to hear it because whether you want to admit it or not, he is one of the greatest running backs of this generation and could arguably could go down as top 15 all time.
That's a fair
with as little success as he's had. The problem is just being riddled with injuries. Like, to really make it high on that list, you need to be not injury prone. You need to be able to stay healthy. And, for him, that's not even, it's such bullshit. It's not fair for this injury, his legs to always be hurt to dictate everything that's happened in his career. When, I'm sorry, but in this generation, since 2010 to now, has not been a better running back than him.
Yeah. I mean,
100%.
I think he made a little bit of one could say, an early legacy for himself. The dude
Correct.
is breaking records, breaking ankles.
Breaking records and breaking ankles.
But,
I like
mean,
that.
The dude was literally a touchdown machine, and I wish I would have caught that train at the beginning of last season, because if you even rolled your money, dude.
Oh, yeah, have you seen that?
Have bands. Even if you bet $10.
If you started with $10
$10
and flipped it
you
every
made,
time.
I think, 10 plus grand alone. So if you're an average $100 bettor, at least 100 grand, and you would have robbed the books. And with that, you're set for gambling for the rest of your life.
Yeah,
frankly,
100%.
But yeah, man, it really pains me to talk about CMC's injury.
Yeah, I hate it.
But onto a more positive things, we did talk about how exciting you did get me with the Detroit Lions.
You goddamn right I did.
But we both called a lot of player props last week. So if you didn't watch that, please go back and
that was a game made for it, which we were adamant about.
Geno Smith, I knew that I did say he was going to keep it tight. It wasn't as tight at the end as I wanted it, but the dude broke his career high, almost 400 passing yards.
Yeah.
DK Metcalf, I'm glad I didn't bet on the dude as far as making an in-time touchdown. But Kenneth Walker, I did. I called that shit. I'm so happy that everyone, if not everyone, betted everyone's over that game. Najigba, Metcalf, Kenneth Walker, Montgomery, anytime touchdown. Gibbs, anytime touchdown.
Yeah.
Laporta had everybody sweating those 25 yards. At the very end.
Me included.
But He got it. The dude is notorious and one of the best, arguably, in my opinion, one of the best tight ends we have in the league today.
100%.
But
100%.
I think that just kind of concludes a little bit of the biggest news we got for the past week.
The other two ones would definitely be AR getting fucking hurt again.
Yeah.
So he goes down with some sort of hip injury, the way that he grabs
Speaking
himself. And yeah, we bleed blue around this goddamn podcast studio. That's gonna be my tagline. I like that. I said it last year and I'll say it again. But he got hurt, went down, and I guarantee that he was on the sideline in Shane Steichen's ear. Put me back in.
100%.
And at what point as a coach do you ignore one of the most one of the best dual threat quarterbacks in the NFL? But the problem is you're the head coach. You cannot let players dictate what they want to do. Yeah. And guess what fucking happened? Steichen sends him right back in for a fucking a quarterback option play, and Anthony Richardson takes the option, runs it again, gets hurt, out for the fucking game. But boy, boy, is Joe Flacco. That's a bad man, y'all.
Nostalgia, man.
Oh my God.
Dude was shooting nothing but missiles. Go ahead. No,
you're good. You're good. Yeah, so I mean, my favorite quarterback growing up as a kid is now on my favorite team as an adult. This is just full circle NFL. One of the most amazing things to ever happen to me. Having Joe Flacco on that sideline was the best addition they could have made, because to be honest, Gardner Minshew does not win that game. If we keep Gardner, I don't think he beats that. I don't think
he would have beat the Steelers?
I don't think so. Really? I genuinely do not.
He came back and beat the Ravens.
Yeah. Really? I just don't think he could have got it done.
I disagree 100%.
The Steelers' defense was playing very, very good football. The flags that were missed in that game, first of all, the Colts should not have won.
I think the NFL in general, flags all around. I don't like, for starters, I'm sure you guys agree, and agree to disagree, but I know you agree. The amount of flags that we've been getting since week 1 of NFL this season, those, what's that form? Illegal formation. Calls? But no, of course we don't get it with the Chiefs, right?
You'll never guess what game 3 is.
Anyways, that's my piece.
Hats off. Jared Goff threw a perfect fucking game. Perfect game.
24?
18 for 18. And you don't want to know what's bullshit? Just one more little tidbit before we dive in. The record currently stands at, for one player to throw a perfect game was 10 out of 10. So I don't remember who the fuck it was. It's a bullshit record.
Yeah.
Jared Goff goes 18 for 18. NFL tells him that the only way for you to beat that record is to have at least 20 pass attempts.
Oh, so he's number 2.
No. They're not even going to count it.
Why?
Because
of that reason? Because it was 18?
Because it was 18. Their new standard is 20 passes to beat that record, which is absolute bullshit. To extend
that conversation, then, I think the better argument for that is, we saw a special teams play, which I stayed up and watched the game from beginning to end over the fucking Tennessee and Miami Dolphins game. We saw Jared Goff obviously make passing touchdowns, 18 for 18 completions, almost 300 passing yards, and
not just passing,
and a receiving touchdown for my boy Amon St. Brown. That was crazy.
That was beautiful.
I give props to that one lineman on the Seahawks that saw it. He just couldn't catch up to Jared Goff because he saw that play coming and he just couldn't catch up. And Jared Goff still got that touchdown. Whoever got that ball, I wouldn't even sell that bitch. I would keep that forever because I don't think Jared Goff will ever get a play like that again.
Well,
a game like that.
With the way Dan Campbell plays, I would not be surprised if that play made its way out again. And you know what?
You could see that again.
Well, 100%. They're like, you know what? Let's try it.
Because it was in the middle, week 4 of the NFL. I mean, I guess if we did see it again, assuming they get to the red zone, which they will easily.
Yeah.
I don't think we'll see that again. until it comes to the playoffs because we all know they're going to get there.
Yeah, but the one thing about that play is that Dan Campbell definitely has an option on that. So if Amon-Ra does not like where Goff's at, or if somebody's, playing a zone coverage on him, he still has the option to bail out.
There's teams out there that, can obviously make that play not go as well as
most definitely.
But it wasn't close. That lineman almost caught up to him, but, Amon threw it at the right time. Goff was in the right place, and it worked out in their favor. They got the dub. You called it. Congrats. Everyone cashed a lot of player props on those overs for sure.
Thank you, my friend.
I know that was a bit of a little lengthy of a recap.
But it was a hell of a recap.
But there's a lot that happened in football. But now that brings us to NFL Week 5. Would you want to bring us into the first game you want to chat about?
We got Thursday Night Football, ladies and gentlemen. This is one of my favorite games of the week. We have got the Buccaneers going to go see the Atlanta Falcons. Atlanta Falcons are at home. And we've got the Falcons favored at -1.5. The over-under sits at 43.5.
It was 2.5 when I looked at it. It's
2.5? It was 1.5 when I looked earlier.
And it was 2.5 when I looked at it.
If you wouldn't mind, take a gander real quick. We will double check that real quick.
Go ahead.
But the Bucs are coming off of a huge win against Philadelphia.
1.5, you're right.
Okay, good. Bucs won against a bruised and battered Eagles team. Impressive, but I don't know. Bucs won 33-16 at home. The Falcons barely escaped defeat by Young Ho or Young Kuho.
Yes, I know exactly who you're saying. I can't pronounce his name either. Arguably, before you continue your segment, one of the best and consistent kickers in the NFL.
Oh, yeah. 100%. 100%. Asians got that clutch gene in them.
Ain't so tiny, but still.
You goddamn it. See?
I don't know, man. It's in the blood. Anyway, continue.
Falcons escaped defeat last second. They beat the Saints 26-24. One thing that I want to say before we go ahead and dive into this game, a lot of people might be leaning towards the Falcons. They always like the favorite. Consider this game a pick'em. Even though the Buccaneers are favored right now, I would still take this game as this can go either way.
Wait. Buccaneers are not favored.
No. I'm sorry. With the Buccaneers being underdogs, like I just said, I already said Falcons at -1.5. So
there you go.
My apologies.
Yeah.
But
continue.
With both games or both teams being at the stage they are, I think it's crazy for either team to be favored, underdogs.
Yes.
This should be a straight up pick 'em. The line should be we'll get to that here in a second. Buccaneers have won 4 of their last 5 games at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. A lot of those wins obviously coming from Brady. Those are divisional games. Yep. But nevertheless, the Falcons are looking. I don't know, man. Nothing the Falcons have done have convinced me that they are an elite team whatsoever. But on that same note, I don't consider the Falcons a bad team right now at all. But what they have done has not convinced me that they deserve to be, looked at in a brighter light. Because, the Kirk Cousins experiment is going exactly how I think you thought. 77 for 119 on the season, 864 yards, 4 touchdowns, 4 picks. That is a classic Kirk Cousins stat line. Yeah. It's classic.
It is.
That's all it reminds me of is every fucking team he's ever played on. Nothing. This is not Kirk O'Change right now, okay? This is Kirk Cousins getting his wife to pick out his outfits from Kohl's, going to church every Sunday, Kirk Cousins. We need Kirk Cousins back in chains. We need him being hyped up on the PJ on their way back and 2 games. That's how you get Kirk Cousins in his zone. But I think that the one thing that the Falcons, one of the 2 things, the one thing the Falcons are utilizing but not in the best way is Bijan Robinson. 100%.
Yes.
Do you have a take on this?
Yeah. So, I'll get to the Bijan Robinson part. So
go ahead.
So,
do what you got to do.
No. You did good. I'd bring it in. So as he mentioned, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. First of all, they decimated the fuck excuse my French, out of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Fool.
And it was the best thing ever because I hate Jalen Hurts and I hate the Eagles. Granted, I'm a Patriots fan, so that's why. But that aside, not only was A.J. Brown out, but who was the other receiver that was out?
Oh, it was the Devontae Smith.
Thank you, Devontae Smith. So obviously, two most reliable receivers that Jalen Hurts has to utilize wasn't even in the game. And that left only his one and reliable tight end in the game, being Goddard. I really wish I would have took his over. If you guys did, good job. I really wish I did.
How many yards did he end up getting? Because I know his line was sitting at like 50.
His line was 51 and a half or so. I think he ended up with 62.
Okay.
Something like that. Baker was baking the fuck out of him.
Baker was baking.
They were not playing. I love to see it. I was really salty that Saquon wasn't able to get that touchdown. I'm sure all you guys had him in your slips. Unfortunately, I was one of those victims. But at the end of the day, I digress. Baker went 30 for 47 with 347 yards.
Crazy.
2 touchdowns, and one of them being a rushing touchdown on his own. I really wish Rashee White was one of the ones to get that rushing touchdown, but it is what it is. But if we're talking about rushing here, I know you bought Bijan Robinson, but let's talk about another running back that is important and is going to be important in this game. Bucky Irving. Bucky Irving's supposed to be, or is at least, being a new main running back, arguably, for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Can you tell me where this guy came from?
I don't know. Can you tell me?
Fuck no.
Because I don't know either. So, but with that being said, Rashee White, though, he has been so consistent last season. We thought we were going to be seeing the same thing this season. I was a big fanboy of him at the beginning of this season. I loved him. The dude hasn't even gotten one damn touchdown for me, unfortunately. But they both equally ran 49 yards last game with 10 carries each. Identical. The only thing is that Rashee White has some receiving yards. But I'm getting a little bit of David Montgomery and Gibbs vibes.
In this dual threat backfield.
Yes. I'm getting a little bit of vibe of that. Obviously, it's not that caliber, but we're getting a bit of resemblance there. I'm not going to get too ahead of myself on that part, and I do love Rashee White, but I think I'm starting to get a little more consistency with this guy named Bucky Irving. If they keep their gear spinning like that, we could see a lot of Buccaneers running game excel. And that's, I think, something that they've been honestly lacking. The Bucs bring a lot of blitz.
Yes.
A blitz to the field. That's the key. I think that's going to be the biggest key in this game to getting to Kirk Cousins, because Kirk Cousins, obviously, he's not going to run. And that's one thing that the Buccaneers struggle with, is stopping the damn run. Saquon was running all over him. Bo Nix was running all over them. If that isn't enough, I don't know what to tell you, but Kirk Cousins has faced 8th highest pressure rate amongst quarterbacks this year. Last week, Atlanta squeaked by New Orleans, not scoring even a touchdown on their own offense.
Crazy.
They came off 26-24 against the New Orleans Saints, and it failed, and they got a punt return and a 47-yard pick six. So I'm going to let you touch on this part before I continue my segment about how I feel about this game. But if we're talking about the running game, Bijan Robinson is absolutely going to have to be the main person to beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
100%. Now, that I completely agree on.
Yeah.
I do think that the Bucs draw back on their blitz packages this week.
Okay.
I think that's what they are expecting. And next thing you know, Kirk Cousins kerfuzzled. He's not Kirk Cousins. He's Kirk fuzzled. But with that being said, 100% Bijan Robinson has to be the heart of this offense. He has to be. Now, don't get me wrong, Tyler Algier, yes, he's came in. He's been doing great things. But Bijan Robinson is the way better player, okay? You shouldn't be getting bigger holes for Algier than you are for Bijan. Now, granted, a lot of that comes from Bijan's exhaustedness, playing X amount of snaps, playing, like 80 or like 75% of snaps. That's exhausting for a player. Even if you're not getting the ball, you're running routes, you're still doing your thing, you're running, you're taking blocks from guys triple your fucking size. But Bijan needs to be a part of this offense. And that's how they've been doing so good this year. And last week, yes, they incorporated him, but not as much as they should have. The man has 359 yards of total yards on offense already after 4 weeks. So it should be pretty obvious that he is one of your keys to success. He only has 8 catches for barely over 100 yards, and that's Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts is a missing factor in this fucking football team,
Bro,
man.
I'm so happy you brought up his
It
name.
blows
I'm so happy.
my fucking mind. Now,
Yes.
me included, and I'm assuming, a lot of NFL fans, they were all thinking that now with Kirk Cousins here, all right, perfect. He loved TJ Hawkinson in Minnesota.
Yes, sir.
We're going to get a lot more Kyle Pitts action. It's not been the case. 8 catches, barely over 100 yards.
Yeah.
When he is 6'6", 250 fucking pounds.
Yep.
And you're telling me he has 8 catches on the year? That's fucking insane to me. You have got to start developing play schemes based around this guy. Because if you don't, you are going to keep losing very tight football games. Now, granted, again, you may squeak by, but you cannot have this dude catching 3 catches. You need to utilize this big motherfucker like everybody else utilizes their good tight ends that are huge. Travis Kelce, Brock Bowers, Zach Ertz, These are all guys that are big boys, have hands, and know how to get out there and catch the football. They're always down for a little bump real quick. Next thing you know, all the linebackers are drawn onto the wide receivers, thinking that the tight end is going to be sitting there blocking the whole time, and boom, it's an option. Bump and run. And it's a bump and run inside. That's all you need for Kyle Pitts. No cornerback is stopping him from catching the ball. Cornerbacks average about 5'11" to 6'1", and he's 6'6" with a reach bigger than this fucking screen. Like, that's crazy to me that you guys are not utilizing him better. But the Bucs, on the other hand, are showing how to properly utilize a tight end. Cade Otton, very, very slept on, does not get the love that he deserves.
Yes, sir. Talked about him 2 weeks ago.
In the past 2 games, 13 catches for 99 yards. That is how you march downfield. That is beautiful for play action plays, right when everybody bites, especially the linebackers, you have your tight end right there, ready just to do a little dig route. And that's all it takes. That's it. But touching on Baker again, by golly, that dude is on fucking fire.
Yes, sir.
I love everything that he's doing. I loved him when he was at the Browns. I thought the Browns wrote him off too quick, and clearly they did. They are regretting every quarterback choice they have made since getting rid of Baker. Because Baker's been on fire. 984 yards on the fucking season already, dude. 8 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Only 2 interceptions on 129 throws. That's insane. That is fucking crazy when Patrick Mahomes doesn't even have that good of a record right now. His stat line doesn't even show that.
Yeah.
I think he's got 4 or 5 interceptions already. But the man of Tampa is the one and only Chris Godwin. Chris Godwin is a fucking dog, dude.
Right now, yeah.
Do you know how tall he is?
I don't.
6'1".
That's not that tall for a wide receiver.
So that leads me back to my point about DBs being average from 5'11" to 6'1". He is barely bigger than most of these guys, and some of these other guys are bigger than him. And somehow he is still embarrassing dudes, man. He has had a hell of a fucking season so far. 27 catches, 34 targets. That man's only dropped, 7 misses.
Yep.
1 drop.
Yep.
This whole fucking season, dude. In 4 games, 1 drop. He's averaging 11 yards a catch. That's a first down every time you give the man the ball. That's insane. If the Falcons want to have any chance at winning this game, they need to stop him. And the problem is, the second they do that, they leave bad boy Mike Evans wide open.
Sir.
You cannot leave Mike Evans in one-on-one coverage. Hell no, dude. Absolutely not. That's the craziest thing I've ever heard of. Do you have anything else you want to touch on?
Keep going, bro, because I love your segment, and I got a piece for you, too. So.
All right, well, I'm ready to button it up, so you go ahead with your little tidbit.
No. Keep going.
All right, I'll button this up then.
It's gonna be fluid with this.
Bucks are, in my opinion, one of the hottest teams in the NFL right now. At this very moment, I think that they bring scissors to the game. You know why I think they bring scissors?
What's up?
Because they're clipping the wings off the Falcons. Give me the Buccaneers at -1.5. They're not even favored. I'm so confident in them. That leg alone is at +116. You go ahead and add under 49.5. That's +181. I love this bet. If you don't like the over-under, dude, I would take the Bucs all the way up to, I don't know, 6.5 on the spread.
Damn, son.
I think that Baker comes out fucking swinging again, dude.
No, I don't disagree to an extent, but yeah. So,
To an extent, okay, okay.
So that leads me to my piece, guys. That was awesome. And if you guys want to rewind how this is about to correlate with one another, feel free to do so. You left, I think at the beginning of this segment, we were just talking about how good the Buccaneers were. And Baker specifically. Let's talk about the Falcons, right? Just like you did. Let's talk about the Falcons. They're 1-2 at home. Where is this about to take place? At home.
Yep.
Last week, we were talking about what happened last week, so let me skip to that. But let's talk about Kirk, what he did last week. Kirk threw 238 yards with 1 interception. Him and Carr had so similar stats that game. Carr threw 239 yards, 1 yard more, with 1 interception.
What?
How interesting. QB-wise, they were equally matched, but this is Thursday Night Football. Can we say that Kirk Cousins is going to be pretty similar to Baker Mayfield? The thing is, Baker's got that dog in him. He's got the dog in him. But I think what matters more than the QB this game is what matters is they are going to be relying so much on their wide receivers this game.
For sure.
This is going to be more of a pass-heavy game because obviously they're both trying to figure out their run game. Bijan Robinson isn't getting the potential that he usually does.
100%
Tyler
agree.
Algier is. Rashid White isn't living up to what he basically is known for. But now this guy, Bucky Irving, is. So interesting.
It's a great name.
But both wide receivers as a whole, they have been top-notch. Drake London, Mooney, and new baby boy, Ray McLeod. They have been such reliable targets for Kirk Cousins, and each of them are averaging between 11 to 12 yards a catch. That's a first down apiece.
Yes, sir.
However, Baker Mayfield's chemistry with his wide receivers, Mike Evans,
That's
Chris
just popping.
Godwin. I'll say Palmer is slowly making a come up, but Auden and
I like it.
kind of little battle a little bit. But we're talking about wide receivers, not tight ends. You already covered that tight end part. Not only will the pass game be important, but the pressure on the QB will be, like I mentioned before. The Bucs secondary is not that good, but I think they are just slightly better than the Falcons. They struggle on stopping the run. So like you said, if Bijan can get rolling that game, they're going to be absolutely dominant. Atlanta's defense could be in trouble, though, because they just lost one of their leading tacklers, Troy Anderson.
Yeah, it's a big loss.
So if they can utilize and take advantage of that, the Bucs are going to have the upper hand. But also right now I did see, speaking of wide receivers, Mike Evans might be hurt. So if that's in your next segment, keep that in mind. I saw literally 2 hours ago that he's questionable. But if he's healthy, I can definitely see the Buccaneers having the upper hand, which leads me to my pick. I think I have to take the Buccaneers money line at +105. And if you by any means feel iffy about that, take the Buccaneers on a winning margin between 1 and 13 points because they're still going to win outright. If you just believe that it's going to be tight, it's going to be within 13 points. But I could see them winning by even more than 6 points. So just take them on the ML.
Most definitely. Could not agree more. I think the winning margin is also a very good bet. But I think that leads us to our Thursday night SGPs. So I'll go ahead and rattle mine off unless you want to go first, John.
No, go for it.
All right, here we go. So go ahead and lock this in. Get your FanDuel up. You're going to want to hear this. We've got Baker Mayfield going over 200 passing yards. He has been on absolute fire. There's no reason to not take that leg. Give me Kirk Cousins for over 200 yards. I think Kirk Cochains finally comes back out and shows us what he's made. What he
Is made of.
Is made of. Thank you.
You're good.
We'll cut that part from the reel. Chris Godwin, 50 receiving yards. Are you kidding me? Especially if Mike Evans is somewhat hurt, even if he still plays the
Well, I
game.
want to take advantage of that before.
Even if he still plays the game, he's going to be playing slightly
agree.
injured. Chris Godwin's going to be the hot hand. Give me Cade Otton for 2 receptions. Love this leg. Like I just said, Baker is finally utilizing the tight end target as better than almost anybody else in the NFL at the moment. Then go ahead and give me the Buccaneers plus 3.5. I love the cushion. There's no way if the Bucs lose, it's by more than a field goal. That puts you at plus 344. You put the boost on that, and that is plus 448. Lock it in. We hit last week. John hit last week. The spread hit last week. The over-under hit last week. We're on fire with Thursday Night Football. Johnny, what you got, my boy?
Well, first of all, I'm happy that I heard you say Cade Otton because I remember I said that exact leg, I think 1 or 2 weeks ago. I just timed it badly, but now that he's getting the retention and those targets now, I think it makes more sense to take that leg. So I like to hear that. My SGP for Thursday Night Football is going to be Chris Godwin for 50-plus receiving yards. The dude has hit the line in the last 4 games. He's 4 for 4. The second leg, we already talked about him. Tyler Algier has been nothing but great as far as hitting his lines. He is also 4 for 4 for 25 rushing yards. This one is going to be the last leg, and I'm saying this as a no-sweat bet. Tyler Algier for an anytime touchdown. The reason I threw that in there is because for 3 legs, it gets you at plus 453 to opt in on the no-sweat. If you are iffy about that, we just talked about how great the running game as far as Bijan Robinson and Tyler Algier can bring against the Buccaneers. If you're iffy about him, take Bijan Robinson because one of them are getting a touchdown this game and put the boost on it. That puts you at 329 if you take it.
Hey.
But those are the 2 SGPs alternatives. One for the no sweat bet and one for the boost. You
love
take
it.
A pick.
I fucking love it.
All right. I know that was a lengthy segment for the first game, but we got another banger for you. The next game we want to talk about is the Jets versus the Vikings. Not even in Minnesota. It's taking place in London.
In London, in Tottenham.
In Eastern time. It's at 9 o'clock or 9:30?
9:30 in the morning.
Yeah, I'm definitely putting my alarm for that. It sucks 'cause it's on a Sunday. I got my grocery shopping early Sunday, but it is what it is. I'll figure it out. The Cheesehead, bro. He couldn't get it done last week against who? Against who? The Denver Broncos and Bo Nix. Oh my God. I know.
What's that?
Before I talk about that,
let's get to the spread, the over-under.
Yeah, I know. I get a little sidetracked with that. I got myself. The Jets versus the Vikings, and it's favoring the Vikings at minus 2.5 with the over and under at 40.5. I think that number is a little low, but we'll touch base there. So going back to what I was saying. I think the Chiefs hit Aaron Rodgers. First of all, I've never been a fan of the dude. I do get he's been in the league for a long time. He's made his presence known.
First ballot Hall of Famer.
But as a veteran, what and how the New York Jets performed against Bo Nix and the Denver Broncos was absolutely atrocious. The QB
agreed
had 12 completions with 60 yards. Bo Nix.
Yes.
And he actually had negative yards at
going
the
into
end
half
of the first half. Never have I ever heard of such bullshit. But the Jets couldn't even pull away until the end of the second with 6 points.
Yeah.
0-6 at the first half. Anyways, the Jets are hungry after now, for the record, being 2-2 this week. The passing and receiving yards for the Jets honestly don't look that bad to me. In the fact that they couldn't score aside from 3 field goals. Kind of upsetting. 9, I think the final score was what? 9-10. A point. They didn't have a choice. It just sucks as a team like that to be as an upsetting loss.
Little side note. Did you see Robert Saleh, the head coach of the Jets? He was laughing his ass off when the Broncos missed a field goal. And then guess who missed the field goal?
Yeah, exactly.
He was so salty on the sideline. Yeah. Continue. I just thought that was funny as fuck. He was just sitting over there like...
And Carmelo, a bitch. Anyway. But let's talk about the excelling elite, as what I can call at least elite for the past 4 weeks. The Vikings are sitting at 4-0 4-0.
Bad
The
boys.
record came very close at the end of the Green Bay Packers game. If you guys saw it, it was 29-31 at the end. Jordan Love did everything he could, but he waited till the very end to finally start popping off. Did he decide to turn it out at the end? Yes. 3 picks for the entirety of the game. However, though, he made up for it. With 4 touchdowns and almost 400 yards. Crack a cold one. Nice. I'm excited to keep seeing the Green Bay Packers play, and Jordan Love is back. I will say, could we have seen something different if Malik Willis was still the starting quarterback that game? I think a lot of people felt like the Green Bay Packers were going to lose that game because maybe it could have been a little bit too soon for Jordan Love to come back at a game like that early after that happening. But that being said, if we're talking about
only losing by 2 points, though, bro.
I mean, yeah.
Coming off of that crazy injury we saw.
Yeah.
Bro, that was disgusting.
It was.
That was fucking gross.
And it's unfortunate because an injury like that where he probably didn't even have to keep playing, honestly, in my opinion, against the Eagles, that whole game was just, I could arguably say it was a bit of a joke. It was really endangering for every player on that field with how slippery it was in Brazil that day.
Yeah, yep. That was
anyway,
we already talked about that.
I do want to talk about a little bit about Darnold. And my segment's not that long, to be honest with you. J.J. McCarthy's injury was probably the best thing that's ever happened for Sam Darnold on that team. To be honest with you, I don't want to say I'm happy about anyone ever being injured, but him getting hurt was the best thing that's probably ever happened for Sam Darnold.
Well, to be honest, they should have been starting Sam Darnold over J.J. McCarthy.
And you would think so.
We already covered this.
Experienced and
rookies need to sit for a little while.
I guess it's just depending on who exactly they're sitting and trying to observe and learn off of. If we're talking about Drake May over Jacoby Brissett, whole nother fucking story.
But 100%, J.J. McCarthy getting injured is the best part of Sam Darnold's storyline.
Yes. It's definitely a good narrative. For sure.
But yes, that's the best word to use.
We're only in week 5, but the Vikings haven't slowed down even one bit.
Not one bit.
To be honest. Darnold leads the league in 11 touchdowns.
Nasty business.
4 weeks. Crazy. Sam Darnold went 20 for 28 with 275 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception in the last 4 games. His first interception was quite impressive to happen because it was very unexpected. That's the reason I was very impressed on it, because I didn't expect it to happen. JJ has been nothing short of impressive either, as we expected. It took a little bit of a startup, I think, until after week 3 when he started popping off for that 97-yard touchdown.
Yeah.
I will say Sam Darnold has definitely been developing a foundation, a trust, a chemistry connection with his team. I think he got that established with Jay Jettas.
Yeah.
I think we can establish that.
Yes.
But a receiver that just came back week 4, he didn't get 1 but 2 touchdowns that game. Jordan Addison. I didn't think that dude was going to be able to pop off, and I'm bittersweet about this guy getting 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, I already know why.
And I'm going to say it for you guys, because everyone thought that Aaron Jones was going to be able to score on his old team, and I had that on my slip. They were on the 1-yard line, and they're like, nah, let's give it to Addison. The dude got 2 touchdowns. Good for him.
But you should have known this already from Green Bay when Aaron Jones would march downfield 85 yards, and guess who they had punched it in? A.J. Dillon. Yeah. Every goddamn time,
Yeah,
dude.
That's the thing. They're just, they need to give him his little stat, man. He worked so hard to get up there, you know? It made me a bit sick, but the dude had 93 yards for 22 carries. I think that's pretty good. I only have one little piece here, and this is my last thing, and I want to hear your thoughts on this. The Vikings themselves are a blitz-heavy team. The Rodgers, I guess you could say it, but Aaron Rodgers has been in the league a hot minute. This is going to be a game where it really has to show and prove that Aaron Rodgers, the Cheesehead, still
could not
has
fucking
it
agree more
in him to withstand that pressure, because I don't see the guy running at all. And let alone after he did keep me on my toes 2 weeks ago, where he ran for like 20 or 15 yards. And I bet his run line was probably 1.5. Granted his injury, but
I guarantee his run line's at 2.5 this week.
Could we see Aaron Rodgers and the New York Jets give the Vikings their first loss this week? Well, I want to hear your thoughts. So let me hear it.
All right. So let's go ahead and start off with the basics here.
Yes, sir.
The basics are going to be that we need to take our hats off and do a little dance for Aaron Jones. Because that man just went right back into Lambeau and showed them what they missed out on.
Yes.
Why they got blows my fucking mind that they were not more adamant to keep him there. Because he has done nothing but prove that he is a top 10 running back in the NFL, let alone a dual threat in the NFL. That is the way that this league is going right now. Being a receiving running back and a running back that can still put up 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 rushing yards, that's the new normal. And guess who can do it? It's Aaron fucking Jones. I think he is way, way too slept on. And everybody looks at this offense and they think Sam Darnold, Justin Jefferson. Put Aaron Jones in that conversation because I'm sorry, Viking fans, but you would not be where you are without Aaron Jones
And they
right
had,
now.
what, Madison, I think was his name last year?
Well, Madison,
Madison?
Same guy. He's been on fire. I mean, what do you have, 2 tutties last game or something crazy like that?
Yeah.
They're just showing that they are versatile once again.
Yeah.
But that game was 100% him just trying to show out and be like, hey, guess what, motherfuckers? You missed this? You missed this? You want me back? Too fucking bad. You don't go back to X's that fuck you over, okay? The man of the hour, though, like John said, is Sam Darnold. Dude has been playing lights out fucking football. He went from the Jets. Then he went to the Panthers. Then he went to the 49ers. And now he's on the Vikings. And what they are doing is building the offense around what Sam Darnold is best at. Compared to the last 3 teams, Jets, Panthers, 49ers, that, he didn't get much playtime on the 49ers, but on the other 2 teams, they did not build the offense around him. They built an offense for him to adapt to. And that's not the quarterback that he is. He needs an offense built around him. And clearly, I don't know who the offensive coordinator is for the Vikings.
Explain that, yeah.
Yeah. But they are doing a great job at realizing what his strengths are and trying to eliminate his weaknesses on that offense, which is fucking incredible. That is how offensive and defensive coordinators should run every single team. There are some guys that have a fucking ego and they're like, this offense works. You just need to figure it out. That's not how you play football in the NFL. You build a scheme that works in the favor of said quarterback, said wide receiver.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
With that being said, I've said this already this year when we covered one of the Vikings games. The motherfucker couldn't have got luckier than getting Justin Jefferson.
Yeah. It's funny because at the beginning you were saying the dude was punching air as soon as you saw J.J. McCarthy getting hurt.
Yeah.
But honestly.
And now they bring in a 6-year vet that knows the lay of the land when it comes to the NFL.
Knows the game.
But, yeah, I mean, Justin fucking Jefferson, you guys. This might be a hot take, and you can agree or disagree with me.
Okay. I'm always honest.
Justin Jefferson's the best wide receiver in the NFL. I'm sorry, it's not close. Think of another one. I'll give you time.
Mike Evans.
Are you serious right now?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Go ahead and check their stats.
It's been 4 weeks.
Exactly.
Oh, we're just talking about this 4 weeks?
Yeah, these 4 weeks. Mike Evans has been in the league for like 8.5 fucking years, dude.
Yes.
So, yes, he has a better repertoire, but coming out in his first 2 years, no. Mike Evans wasn't even close to how good Justin Jefferson has performed. Not even fucking close, bro. Okay. Go back, check the stats. I'm telling you right now, Mike Evans did not have a better 3 years than this guy. Now, don't get me wrong, Mike Evans did have a 1,000-yard season every year he's been in the league. Go. So is Justin Jefferson. I think Justin Jefferson has had 1,250 every year since he's been in the league. If we're
comparing with time, then, can we say, or can you say then, Marvin Harrison Jr. has been doing absolutely phenomenal since week 2. I can see Marvin Harrison Jr. catching up, if not surpassing Jay Jettas by the end of this season. No.
Marvin Harrison still has a lot to learn.
And
he still has a lot to learn.
This is his rookie year.
100%.
So if they match.
But their stats aren't close. Marvin Harrison
In
had
1 year?
He had one crazy game.
Yes.
One.
Yes.
Justin Jefferson's had 4.
How did he do in his first game? Because I don't remember.
A touchdown and like 89 yards.
Okay, so he's breaking.
Harrison beat Harrison in that. The next week was like 120 something and a touchdown.
That was the 97 yarder.
The next week was he's already had over 200
Probably 400.
2 100-yard games.
Yeah, so he has to be close to 400.
Yes. Let me keep looking. I think I have Jay Jetta's line on here. 20 catches for 358 yards and 4 touchdowns. Marvin Harrison is not close to that, bro. Not even close, nor is Mike Evans. Go ahead and check the stats. I know you want to.
If anyone is not Mike Evans, probably Godwin. Oh, if I'm comparing
Godwin, 100%.
Godwin probably.
Now, Godwin, the problem is he has not been consistent throughout the years. Yeah. Jefferson, since coming in the league, dude, has, been in the top 3 conversation every year of his career.
I guess the argument in that one would be because who else could Kirk Cousins throw it to who would be able to keep up with how far he could throw it? But Jay Jettas.
So all right. So I like that point because you should not be able to keep throwing it to one receiver. That means he is cooking defenses, bro.
That's what
defenses are being formed.
We were talking about the same thing.
Defenses are being formed.
This Tyreek, Waddle, and that's the same thing with like 2. No, actually, no. We were talking about Jalen Hurts and how different one wide receiver can turn a whole team, which it shouldn't be that way, unfortunately. But without A.J. Brown, goddamn, the Eagles just crumbled.
They did fine with Devontae Smith. They did fine with no A.J. Brown.
I disagree.
They did fine the year before they picked him up in the draft.
Bro, they almost lost, even without A.J. Brown.
Almost doesn't count in football,
this
Bubby.
Guy.
Almost doesn't count in football.
All right, anyway, continue.
Devontae Smith, great wide receiver. Yes. He does not need A.J. Brown to succeed. Jalen Hurts probably does, but we're not talking. Yes. We're not talking about quarterbacks right now. We're talking about pure talent from wide receivers.
Okay.
So Justin Jefferson, best wide receiver in the league. That was clearly a hot take. I love that. I love that. That's why we do this shit, man.
Guys, tune in.
Yeah,
like, subscribe. We can't agree to everything, guys.
No, it'd be fucking boring. But personal opinion, like I said, it's a hot take.
It is.
I think he is right now the best wide receiver in the NFL.
Okay.
But let's go ahead and let's double back here for a second. The problem with Sam Darnold is that this man, he's been on fire, like John said, 73 completions, 932 yards on the season. And the cherry on top of that, like you said, 11 fucking tutties, dude.
Crazy.
That's wild. Crazy. That is fucking wild. But the one bad part about this stat line and this Vikings team, which is going to be their Achilles heel, will be that Sam Darnold has been sacked 10 times already. So let's put this into averages here. We're 4 weeks in at 10 sacks. By week 12, this man is averaged to be sacked 40 fucking times. That is so unacceptable from an undefeated team. You cannot have a backup like, don't get me wrong, Sam Darnold's doing great, but he is not an elite quarterback by any stretch. You get rid of Justin Jefferson, you can kiss all this shit goodbye for him. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But 10 sacks. The dude's on track to be sacked 50 times this year.
Mm-hmm.
Quarterbacks are not made to take these hits. So the Vikings really need to step off their offensive line. That is going to be their Achilles heel. But with Justin Jefferson being able to do 20 catches, 358 yards, 4 touchdowns, averaging 18 yards every time he gets the ball.
In London, that dude's going to want to show the fuck off.
Oh, yeah. They're going to be like, Justin Jefferson. I like the boy.
Yes, sir.
He's got a lot of hot.
Toddy.
Yeah.
Chip. Cheerio. While you Google there, the only other 2 points I had
Cup of tea.
Are nonetheless, Darnold is going to be a little more motivated.
Why so?
To continue his career year against his former team.
Oh, that's right, bro. That never even clicked for me. I just said it.
Before he even got started, guys.
I think the Jets drafted him.
If that motivation wasn't enough for them to just fucking pop the hell off in London. Another fun fact, I did my little digging. Since 2019, COVID, 9 out of 12 games have ended within 13 points.
4.
And the score within.
on what?
The final score in the game.
Of what? The Jets games, the Darnold's
every game in London.
Every game in London.
Sorry,
okay.
Every game in London has,
gotcha.
since 2019, 9 out of 12 games have ended within 13 points.
They want to put it on the show for them.
Winning margin, guys. Winning margin.
And another thing to look at, I'm pretty sure the Vikings have played there like 4 times, 5 times, like more than any other team in London.
How many times? I didn't see them.
I think that they have played more than anybody in London. But with all of that being said, I'm not ready to jump to the final score. The problem that the Jets are having is getting Garrett Wilson to... Oh, good golly.
Garrett Wilson.
Yeah, boy.
Garrett Wilson.
Garrett Wilson. He was so high on a lot of people's boards. We're not just talking fantasy either. A lot of people expected him to have a crazy season. The repertoire that Rodgers and Wilson had built in the offseason, what they almost had last year, everybody was kind of hoping that they were going to bounce back. They were going to be one of the greatest duos, and Garrett Wilson is not that guy. And I'll tell you why. It's because when Aaron Rodgers came from Cheesehead Nation, he brought one wide receiver with him.
Yep.
And he was his favorite wide receiver besides Devontae Adams. Alan fucking Lazard, bro. Yes, he is so slept on, man.
And his low is always sitting pretty low. So it's like, why? When he's literally one of his favorite receivers, he literally brought him from Green Bay just to throw it to him. So why wouldn't you want to take advantage of that in your slips? I have. To be honest, I have.
Aaron Rodgers, Alan Lazard, and the NFL would never admit to collusion about this.
Yeah, they would.
But 100%, they were like operating behind the scenes. You know, there was a little text thread going on between Rodgers and Lazard. Like, you come here, man. I'm telling you, I will get you the ball.
Tommy, come on now. It's the same concept.
Yeah.
Same concept.
And Alan Lazard, 16 catches, 206 yards, 3 touchdowns. Did you see that line coming?
No.
Into week 4?
I did not.
That sounds like a Garrett Wilson line that we all thought was going to come.
Yeah, there we go. That's
if not bigger.
Yes.
Garrett Wilson, but not even close.
He struggled a little bit last week, but he ended up breaking 41, thankfully, because I had him for 40.
Same too.
Continue,
right here, lock her in. Kapow. But he's done better than everybody's expected. But meanwhile, you have the guy that everyone was convinced to be a top 10 receiver. I was fooled as well. Garrett Wilson.
Yeah.
They need to get him going. If the Jets want to win ball games, Garrett Wilson is not a big boy.
Yes.
He runs his routes and strictly depends on getting open from his footwork, the way he runs routes. It's not from his muscle. It's not from, his height. It's just from him being able to read a defender. And he just has not been getting the ball done or getting it done at all. He's not doing bad. 20 catches on 34 targets, 191 yards, 1 tutty. Again, you would think that was Lazard's line. To me, that's just crazy.
Yeah, agreed.
Another player that I'm high on, and I'm still high on, that is, I see the Jets a lot like the Falcons when it comes to their backfield. Breece Hall. This man cannot end up in a game with 14 receiving yards and 14 rushing yards or whatever the fuck it was. It was ridiculous. Absolutely insane. The fact that the Broncos were able to somehow shut this down just shows that the offensive playbook in the Jets world is not as good as they think. Yes. You want to know how Aaron Rodgers found his success? Was being able to control the offense, having the option to call audibles, having the option to be like, no, we're not running this play.
He was definitely a leader.
Yes. You got to give him control of this offense. Yeah. You have to. He's already bitched and moaned in press conferences that, hey, this play wasn't good. We should have called this and this and this. And the Jets aren't doing that.
Yeah. It worked this time, but that doesn't mean it's going to work again.
No, correct.
Yeah.
Correct. You have to let Aaron Rodgers get a little bit of control of this offense because losing to a quarterback that had -7 yards is batshit fucking crazy, dude.
Yeah.
That's wild.
It is.
Not being able to find the end zone, not getting one passing touchdown. I'm telling you, you let Aaron Rodgers take a little bit of control of this offense, we have a brand new Jets team all over again.
I concur. I already gave all my pieces, so I just really want to hear your pick.
Well, my pick is going to be that the Jets are looking for a bounce-back game. But the Vikings, this is a no-fly zone. Give me the Vikings money line and give me over 36.5. Parlay that. That's plus 138.
I'm going to go ahead and take the Vikings on a winning margin because, again, fun fact there that I said earlier, if somehow Aaron Rodgers somehow is able to bring it tight, it could be tight. And I like the trend of 9 out of 12 games in London to end within 13 points. I can't expect Aaron Rodgers to bring a bounce-back game after losing miserably to the Denver Broncos. Give me the Vikings winning margin, please 113 points.
I like that. Over-under?
What was
I got it over at 36.5. The over-under sits truly at 40.5. I'm looking at like 2017.
I like the over regardless.
Or maybe 24.
I don't even have to take the alternate. I think I could see it going 40, especially again after that last game. I can definitely see Aaron Rodgers and the Jets getting at least 2 tutties, but I can see the Vikings getting 3, if not more. I mean, Sam Darnold's been throwing at least 3 a game, at least, and that's not even including with Aaron Jones punching it in. But I think that covers that game, right?
Yeah, I'm all done.
Oh boy. We kind of went through the whole reel here. We went from Thursday to Sunday. I think that brings us all the way to Monday. We are going to be talking about
we have got
Breeden.
The Saints going to Kansas City. Saints are going to see the Chiefs. Chiefs are sitting at minus 5.5 at the favorites. Over-unders at 42.5. We have the Saints coming off of a loss to the Falcons, like we already talked about. And we also have the the Chiefs beating the Chargers out in L.A. Chiefs win 17-10. Johnny, I'll let you take over, buddy.
Mine's super quick, my guy. So the Saints are coming off of a tough loss. This time against the Atlanta Falcons, which we talked about a little bit earlier, thanks to that last-minute field goal by Young-Ho Koo, however you pronounce his name.
My old bitch fine, but my Young-Ho Koo.
That's cool. I've never... Is that a meme?
Yeah.
That's stupid. Meanwhile, the Kansas City Chiefs are 4-0. There's only 2 remaining teams in the NFL league that are 4-0, the Minnesota Vikings and the Kansas City Chiefs. Remaining undefeated after beating Los Angeles Chargers 17-10. I was so shitty. I'm going to put this bet slip on my screen because I sent it to him before the Chargers unfortunately lost. And then after broke his yards. It was a 13-1. Unfortunately, I was just debating whether to take
4
the
legs.
on
that
7.
Was it.
It was 5, I think. 4-7 or 4 or 5.
No, it was 5, and he had DK for over 50, and he got that.
Yeah. Anyways, it lost. But anyways, I find it a little interesting that the line is that tight because the Chiefs are favored a little under a touchdown, but they're missing 2 of their best weapons in their arsenal. One, Isaiah Pacheco. And recently, if you guys saw the game, Patrick Mahomes accidentally basically ran into and hurt the shit out of Rashid Rice.
Okay, so that's what happened because I missed the game, and I saw a lot of people dogging Mahomes online.
He went for a low hit under the hip, but it went lower than probably what he anticipated, and he accidentally ran into Rashid Rice during an interception of his own. So a double whammy. He accidentally ran into and hurt, and he ended up getting carted off the field.
Rice did?
Yep.
Oh,
so 2 of the hottest players on the offensive line for the Kansas City Chiefs. I think it could be that high because I think maybe the reason the gap for -5 favoring the Chiefs is that wide is because they have the fastest wide receiver from the combine, Xavier Worthy.
Bad man.
And then who? Old reliable for the Kansas City Chiefs, Travis Kelce.
Are we done talking about him being washed? Or are we finally done with that?
So let me get in there. I'm getting there. If you don't like Kelce for an anytime touchdown this week, guys, if you don't, I really wish I would have tailed him at the beginning, or excuse me, last week, because Travis Kelce was on fire. I was looking at his receptions. Honestly, not too bad. Receiving yards. We're in week 5. And we haven't seen him pop. He was due.
Yeah.
We could say he was due. And if it wasn't a better time, unfortunately, it had to happen probably because of Rashid Rice's injury.
And that's the only reason.
That was probably the only reason all his overs hit that game. He didn't get a tutty, but he did break every over. It's also an Arrowhead, and I'm sure Taylor Swift is going to be there, so couldn't you expect this dude to probably pop off again? Let me hear your thoughts before I keep going.
More than likely, I see Kelce having another big game because the washed stuff is, I can't fucking stand
I think
that.
we finally got out of that.
Yeah, okay, good.
We have surfaced from the water.
But even with, him having a good week last week, I still think that all that talk was absolutely ridiculous because guess what? How do you think Mahomes was torching all you guys? Because you guys were all bamboozled by the fact that Kelce was not going to be the main guy in the game.
Yes, sir, exactly.
And everybody was fooled for fucking 4 weeks in a row.
Yeah, exactly.
Which blows my mind. How do you not cover 2 of the fastest dudes in the 3? Even before Kelce popped off, you got Pacheco, Rice, and Worthy. 3 of the fastest fucking dudes in the NFL. Sir. And you think, we can do man on man to them.
Yeah,
we can play a cover
Kelce,
defense against them.
Kelce.
Yeah, let's double team Kelce though.
Yeah,
stupid as fuck. Kelce popped off 7 catches, 89 yards on 9 targets.
Yes, sir.
Kelce is back.
Yep. This is the Mahomes and Kelce magic that we're accustomed to seeing.
Yes. And one thing that I want to bring up is going to be that if the Chiefs are able, let's zoom in right here. If the Chiefs can go all the way without their best wide receiver, without their best running back, they are hands down the GOAT dynasty if they can go for a three-peat. I'm sorry, the Patriots were crazy good.
I cannot disagree.
A three-peat, though?
Disagree, bro.
That's insane.
I would be sick to my stomach.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, that they would be arguably the best team in the NFL.
Now, don't get me wrong.
Dynasty right there.
Yes, 100%. They've gotten away with a lot. A shit ton, dude.
Yeah.
So is a lot of other teams in the NFL. Colts got away with a lot of holding on TJ Watt. So much. Like, insane. Every team gets away with it every now and then. But the Chiefs seem to be a little bit more favored, which really blows. Despite the Chiefs still being, pretty much arguably the best team in the NFL. I mean, they're the reigning Super Bowl champs, back to back.
Back to back.
They are the best team in the NFL.
Until proven otherwise.
Exactly.
Until proven otherwise.
You are the champ until you beat the champ.
Exactly. You're the best until you're beaten by the best. Or what?
And with them playing the Saints in Arrowhead, by golly, the Saints, don't get me wrong, last week was a divisional game. We preach this all the time. Those are different breeds of games. They know the coaching staff. They know the players. They know them better than anybody else. And I still think the Saints do a good job. I genuinely do. But it's the fucking Chiefs and the Zebras versus the Saints, man. Like, they're giving them the favorable calls. If Mahomes wants a call, they give it to him. And most people, you can't be mad because these are calls that should be called. They are. Now, a lot of other teams get away with them a lot more. But on that same note, there's a lot of teams that don't get away with that call. And at the end of the day, I think that if the Chiefs can stay steady and continue to be able to still move the ball downfield, even with their 2 best players on offense, Kelce's top 3, but Pacheco and Rashid Rice are the 2 best players on that offense behind Mahomes.
100% agreed.
And then behind Mahomes and, Kelce at 4th.
Kelce, yeah.
Yep. I see the good old Saints. I see them marching out. Give me the Chiefs at -2.5 and give me over 39.5. I fucking love that. I love that. I don't think the Chiefs win by 5.
So, that's a
Woo,
good thing.
we got a hot take coming in. I like it.
So, we talked a lot about the Chiefs for the past 5-10 minutes. Let's talk about the Saints, right? Let me, like you said, hold on there, hot dog. We got the Saints, who have been arguably pretty good overall, in my opinion, at least.
Derek Carr has been playing great football.
There are 2-2, but one of them came pretty close. With an injury with Taysom Hill, it really sucks because I think they were finally starting to implement that tight end, and it's weird because Taysom Hill, he is a quarterback essentially.
He's a quarterback tight end.
But he plays as both positions.
And a fullback and a running back.
Yeah, and I think they weren't utilizing him the same way they were last season, and I think if they start doing that again,
which they just did,
and unfortunately he happened to have gotten injured at the time when they did.
You keep him in that game, that's a different that's a different story.
Exactly. But Chris Olave, he's finally starting to pick up steam. Unfortunately, I got rid of him on my fantasy because I didn't think he was gonna be picking up that much steam, but now he is. And I think now that they're starting to utilize Olave, Raji Shaheed, and who can forget arguably one of the best running backs in the NFL right now.
That's another guy.
Alvin Kamara.
Another guy that should be considered top 10 of our generation.
And that is the one thing that the Saints have over the Chiefs this week is a amazing and decent, if not great, running back.
That's a good read.
The minimum yards.
That's smooth.
That Alvin Kamara has had this season. Give me a number.
Rushing, receiving, or combined?
Just rushing.
Just rushing. I'd say minimum. I don't know. I know he's been on fire. I'd say on the low end, 50.
77 yards. Crazy. And he has 5 touchdowns in 4 games.
What the fuck?
77 yards, guys. Only he's been able to punch it in. The only one he wasn't, was the only game he was not able to punch it in was against the Eagles. Aside from that, nonetheless, I think he continues to dominate the field because honestly, the Chiefs aren't that great at stopping the run game. Mahomes is just so good with time management. That is one thing I take to the grave with me. I think a touchdown for him on Monday Night Football would be an absolutely great statement for the Saints and the New Orleans Saints.
Now, just 1 second before you give it, because I know you want to. They were able to shut down J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards last week, okay? They did a very good job. They held both of them to under 70 yards combined. Now let's go to the Falcons game. They held Bijan Robinson and Algier to 63 yards combined.
Yeah.
They've been doing good. So do you still think Alvin Kamara pops off this game and shows the weaknesses in this defense?
I absolutely do.
Okay. All right. I love your take on this. No, dude. Yeah, I love it.
I was doing, bro. I hate the Chiefs. I hate them, but I'm at least realistic and can admit when they have the advantage. With all that being said, I want the Kansas City Chiefs. I want Travis fucking Kelce. I want Taylor Swift. And I want every goddamn red jersey person in Arrowhead to suck my big fat Picciolini and give me the Saints plus 5.5. That is my take. I think the New Orleans Saints, Derek Carr, Alvin Kamara, Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed, every one of them to beat the Kansas City Chiefs and give them their first loss in Arrowhead. That is my take. I hate them all so much.
Oh my God, I knocked my microphone off the fucking stand, so I'm holding it the rest of the pod.
Oh man, I was waiting for that.
Oh my God.
All day. I made this right up 3 hours ago. That was my most favorite piece to say in the pod.
That was
so
great,
good.
dude. That was
so
great.
Man, all right. That's a reel right there, guys.
You had me fooled. Oh my God, I cannot wait for everybody to see this. That was fucking hilarious, dude. Good job, John. Good job.
All right. Oh man, that was a long 3 games we talked about, guys. I really hope you guys enjoyed it, but we're not done. I don't know if I'm going to break this up into another video, but we try to do this every single week. We want to do a speed round. I might have a little bit of things to say for each game, so if I do break it up into 2 videos, you can feel free to watch it on our YouTube. On Spotify, though, this is going to be all one video, so if you guys are hearing it, thank you guys for tuning in. We love you guys. Be sure to follow us every single week if you haven't done so already. Helps the algorithm. But with that being said, we are here on Our Last Leg, Episode 5, NFL Week 5. Nicky G, let's run through this NFL slate together, my friend. Can you go ahead and start us up by saying the first game?
First game, we've got the Buccaneers at the Falcons. We already covered that, so if you missed it, better double back. Next game, we've got the New York Jets going to go see the Vikings in London. We've already covered.
Go back.
We've already covered that game, so go ahead and double back. Next game, we have got the Baltimore Ravens going to Cincinnati. This is divisional, folks. Buccaneers are not in this game. It's going to be the Baltimore Ravens at the Cincinnati Bengals. Ravens are favored at -2.5. Over under sits at 50.5.
That's high.
You know goddamn well. Give me the Ravens at -2.5 and give me under 53.5. John, what you got?
I'm going to go ahead and tail that to the T. Give me Ravens at -2.5 and under 50.5. I think that the next game we looked at here. Oh, by the way, I saw at the beginning, if you guys tuned in this far, my Houston Astros, I took them at +2.5. It took them till the bottom of the ninth to get one freaking run, and they covered the spread.
By golly, they did it.
Sorry. All right. Time to digress. What was the next game we were going to chat
Next
about?
game, we have the Carolina Panthers going to go see the Chicago Bears. This might be considered the shit bowl of the year. Bears are favored at -3.5. Over under sits at 41.5. I am going to go ahead and take
this one's interesting.
Red Lightning. Give me the Carolina Panthers at +2.5 and give me under 41.5. John, what you got?
Can you remind me who the Bears played last week?
Bears won last week, and they played the Rams, who have literally nobody.
That is who I put. I forgot about
and
that.
they still almost lost the game.
Give me Red Lightning at +3.5. And the over and under, I'm expecting from 2 shitty teams, give me over 44.5.
You know what? That's actually, it's 41.5. You like 44.5?
Oh, sorry. I didn't see that. Oh, yeah, right. 41.5. Okay. Sorry about that. Anyway, next game, Miami Dolphins against the New England Patriots, a divisional game, if I recall, right? That's divisional?
Yes, that 100% is divisional.
That makes sense why the over and under is so low. Honestly, the New England Patriots have been surprising me more than what I thought.
Dolphins have been shocking me in the worst way possible.
Yeah, especially because
Tua's
shit, bro. Out of here. If Tua was still in the game, I would like to take the Dolphins, but I'm gonna go ahead and give a little bit of faith on my New England Patriots because the line is so low. It's at 1.5. Give me the New England Patriots on the ML with the over on 35.5.
Yeah. I think that the Dolphins finally start clicking. This was a bad game for Huntley. Tyreek Hill was very, very adamant about how mad he was on the sideline. Everybody was very upset. Yeah. I think the Dolphins have a bounce-back game. Give me them at +1.5, having the better squad all the way around, and give me over 32.5. You're talking 10-13.
I thought you said no alternates, so I'm sticking.
No. We can run alternates on this, 100%. You just need to pick the over-under. My man.
All right.
Next game, we've got the Buffalo Bills going down to Houston. Buffalo Bills are going to go see the Houston Texans. Buffalo Bills are favored at -1.5. Over-under is at 47.5. This is going to be a great fucking game. If the Bills can figure out a way to shut down Nico Collins, this is 100% a lock. I'm going to take the more electric offense and the team that has not been stutter-stepping. Give me the Bills at -1.5. And give me over 45.5. I like 27-17.
Give me the winning margin of Houston Texans between 1 and 13 points. And I love the over in this game. I think it's going to be heavily offensive on both ends. I think both of them are going to struggle covering all wide receivers. I think both quarterbacks just sling the ball all 1 p.m. afternoon long. The next game we got is the Indianapolis Colts against the Jaguars, a divisional game. I think, if I remember, they already played one time. this season, or is this the first time playing?
First time this season.
All right. So I think, if I remember, they have yet to win one time in Indiana or in Jacksonville.
So the thing is, Colts have not won in Jacksonville in a ridiculously long time.
I think the thing here, I know a little bit of pause on the speed run. The thing here is, will AR play this game? Because now we have Joe Flacco. That's the thing that throws me off, because Trevor Lawrence has been absolute dog water this season.
Who you were high on. Always have been.
Yeah. So, yeah, I always have been. And that's probably why they're favorites. So I'm going to keep the trend going. Give me the Jacksonville Jaguars at -2.5, where it sits. The over and under. Oh, give me the under. If AR5 plays, give me the under. If Joe Flacco plays, give me the over 45.5.
I like that take. The problem in this game is going to be if Kenny Moore is in. That's going to be the biggest factor in this game to shut down Christian Kirk. If Kenny Moore is in, give me the Colts at +2.5. If he is out, I'm still taking the Colts goddamn at +2.5. Motherfucker, what would it look like? We blew around this goddamn podcast studio. Over, under. I am going to take under 46.5. This is a divisional game, and I think both of them get locked up by the defenses. Next game, we've got the Cleveland Browns going to go see the red hot Washington Commanders.
Yeah.
Commanders are favored at -3. Over under is at 43.5. I'm going to take the guy that I've been bragging about since 2 weeks ago. I love this fucking kid. I think they finally found their franchise quarterback. Give me the Commanders at -3 on the straight up spread, and give me over 43.5.
I like the Washington Commanders on -3.5 and over because of how electric they have been. They are consistent with their point scoring. And I also, by the way, I went back. I saw that the Washington Commanders lost to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who struggle with the running game, and they still put up a hell of an amount of points. So regardless, that's what I'm taking. I like that.
I like that.
Next game, Arizona Cardinals against the San Francisco 49ers. Oh, man, Kyler Murray, brother, you got a game ahead of you in San Fran. I need you to step the hell up. I'm going to take the Arizona Cardinals at +7.5. That 5 number has been a trap throughout the last 4 weeks in the NFL.
Yes, sir.
I like the 7, honestly. Brock Purdy has been doing average to best at that. If CMC was in it, this line would probably be a lot more stretched out, but that's not the case here. I'm going to take advantage of it. Give me the Arizona Cardinals at +7.5. The over and under, I like it at under 49.5.
All right. Well, the Cardinals struggled so much last week against the Commanders and a brand new team. And to be honest, the Cardinals have way more talent on their team. And in this case, I'm going to take that same concept that the 49ers just simply have more talent on their team. Give me the 49ers instead of 7.5, like the line sits. Give me them at 6.5. And I like over 46.5 in this game. I like 20-27.
Okay.
Next game that we have. Do what?
It's a squeeze, because I'm saying the under. You're
Most definitely.
It's like
yeah.
right
And you took the Cardinals on +7.5. That's going to be a game to watch, folks.
Yes, sir.
Actually, you know what? I'd put that as one of the best games to watch.
You took who again, one more time?
I like the 49ers at -6.5. I like them by a tutty.
Damn.
By a tutty.
That's 1 point difference on the spread, and that's 2 points on the total.
All depends on what you're more confident in. He's more confident in the Cardinals to lose by less than a tutty.
Or win.
Yes, or straight up win. I like them simply to just win by a touchdown. That's it.
Okay.
Next game that we have got is going to be the Las Vegas Raiders. They're going out to Denver to go see the Broncos. Raiders are going to go see the Broncos. Broncos are favored at -2.5. Well, the over-under.
Interesting on that part before you even say your pick. Devontae Adams recently, if not an hour before we started this pod, claimed that he wanted out of the Las Vegas Raiders. This team seems to be crumbling right now. So do you think that's going to play a factor with this?
I think that it does. I think that Devontae Adams' injury was bullshit. This man has made it clear that he came to the Raiders to play with his best friend, Derek Carr.
Yep.
The second they get Devontae Adams, they trade away Derek Carr. I think the Raiders are in shambles right now, but somehow if the Broncos can find the end zone, They're going to win this fucking football game. Give me the Broncos at minus. Fuck the spread. Give me the Broncos on the money line, and the over-under sits at 36.5.
Man, bro, I hate
Two dog
so
shit
much.
teams. Yeah, this is going over. Give me over 34.5.
I'll take that to a T. Give me the Broncos on the ML with 34.5 over. Yeah.
Love it.
Two dog water teams here. But anyway, and plus, Broncos were able to hold off Aaron Rodgers on the New York Jets. Come on now. Anyway, Green Bay Packers against the LA Rams in LA. Favoring 3 even on the Green Bay Packers. I think after the performance that Jordan Love had last week, they need to come back up. I'm going to take the Green Bay Packers at minus 3 even. Oh, bro, I hate these over and unders so much. I'm going to take under 50.5.
I love that bet. I love that. I'm going to take exactly what John just took. I like the Packers to win by minus 3, and you said under 50.5.
Yep.
I think so as well. If the Bears can beat the Rams, so can the Packers. Yes. Next game that we have is going to be the New York Giants going all the way across the country to go see Seattle. New York Giants are going to go see Seattle. Seattle is favored at minus 4.5. Over-under sits at 43.5 after Seattle just lost to the Lions and kept it very close and showed that they are a problem and can be a good team. I am 100% rocking with Seattle. I will take minus 4.5 straight up on the spread. Over-under. Man, if the Giants can keep that ball rolling, this all depends on Malik Neighbors.
Yeah, man, that's the only target they got. Maybe Slate.
Darius Slayton.
If he can finally start doing something, then maybe. That's what it really comes down to. Because Neighbors can't do it all on his own, man. He really can't.
I apologize. The line sits at minus 6.5. I will still. So did I, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I will still take Seattle at minus 6.5 for a huge bounce back game. And the over-under sitting at 43.5. Boy, oh boy, give me over 39.5. I think Seattle can put that up by themselves.
I'm going to take the Seattle Seahawks at minus 3.5 and give me the under 40.
Good bet.
3.5. I don't know, man. I feel like this game, for some reason, gut feeling, it could be a trap. But
Sunday Night Football.
Yeah, it is. And that's, right. Oh, that's 4:25. But we're on. Oh, now we're at Sunday Night Football. All right, we got the Cowboys against Pittsburgh Steelers in Pittsburgh. The line favoring the Pittsburgh Steelers at minus 1.5. The over and under sitting at 42.5. Oh, I want to hear yours, honestly. This one's interesting.
Yeah, I'll go first. With the Steelers being favored, they're 3-1. Yes, they kept it close to the Colts, but you're also talking with a backup, 15-year fucking veteran, and you still couldn't win the game. There's no way you win against a Dallas Cowboys team that needs a win to keep it competitive in their division. Go to give me the Cowboys a plus 1.5. You know what? Fuck that. Give me Cowboys money line, and the over-under sits at 42.5. That's disgusting. Give me over 42.5.
I'll take the Dallas Cowboys at plus 1.5 and give me the over and under at 42.5. I like that. And obviously, we already talked about Monday Night Football.
Touch on it real quick.
New Orleans Saints against the Kansas City Chiefs again. Fuck all you Arrowhead mother truckers, whatever, suck my big Picciolini. Give me the Saints at plus 5.5. I'll say it again. Give me the Saints at plus 5.5. The over and under, I'm scared to touch that, but I will give you one anyway. Oh, give me the under. Give me the
Dude,
under.
you might have the greatest radio voice ever.
Oh, man.
I'm going to try to mimic him. All right, we've got the Saints going to go see the Chiefs, and we're going to go ahead and take the Chiefs at minus 5.5. Just kidding. I like him at about 2.5. This isn't even close to John's radio voice. Picciolini, I don't know if that means dick or what, but I do like the over at 42.5.
I like it, man. All right, guys, that was a long one, but I enjoyed it. I'm sure you did too. We put a lot of time in these 3 games. This is honestly really one nice air guitaring there. We like the slate here, honestly. The games here had us a little trickling in a bit.
Oh, yeah.
The 3 games that we touched on, I really hope you guys enjoyed it. We touched a lot. Player props, team outcomes, what could happen. All of it, guys. Our Last Leg podcast here every single week. Listen to us on Spotify, YouTube, Instagram. Follow us on the Discord for any plays.
Don't forget the TikTok.
And the TikTok that we just made one. I will be in the link below. Drop a like, hit subscribe, hit the bell, whatever. You guys know it.
Cha-ching!
You guys got me, Jonny G, and my homie boy.
Oh, Nicky G. If you guys want to win money, you better subscribe. Go follow us on all that shit. We got a same game parlay coming up for a reel in case you don't want to listen to all this. Love you guys. Talk to you next week.
Peace.
Peace.